Well, we're past the 1-year mark in the Donald Trump presidency, and what has it taught us? Well, I'm Mike Bedenbaugh. I ran for Congress. I wrote Reviving Our Republic because our nation is broken, but it can be fixed. I've spent a good part of my life restoring old buildings, studying foundations, identifying structural stress, knowing the difference between cosmetic cracks and load-bearing failure. I was also born in the Jim Crow South. I watched a system many believed would never change. So when I look at America today, I don't necessarily see collapse, though it could happen. But I do see drift, dangerous drift. This week, El Paso airspace closed, then it reopened. For whatever reason, precautionary, procedural, but that's not the point. The point is how normal it felt that a major national decision could shift in real time, managed almost entirely by executive authority. In a healthy republic like we're supposed to be, national actions are anchored in due process. When tariffs rise and fall by announcement, when airspace closes and reopens without any procedural discussion, when military force is exercised without clear congressional authorization, that is not good. It's dangerous. But I want to be clear, this didn't start with Donald Trump. He inherited a presidency already swollen with delegated power. For decades, Congress avoided hard votes. Both parties did it. Democrats expanded regulatory authority through the executive branch, and Republicans expanded security authority through the executive branch. Presidents from both sides governed by executive order when compromise became inconvenient. And when Congress shrinks, the presidency expands. Look at recent boat strike reports in the Caribbean. Those who did survive were reportedly repatriated instead of entering U.S. courts. Military force used without any declaration of war. Whatever your view on policy, the structural question remains: where is Congress? War authority belongs to the legislative branch. The executive executes. When those lines blur, the entire system can collapse. Our allies in Europe looks at all of this and asks, what happened to America? But the America of the mid-20th century that they are looking at, that they're referring to, unified, industrially dominant, globally stabilizing, was just a moment, not a permanent condition. We mistook circumstance for structure, and now the weaknesses are very visible. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We cannot fix this by simply voting in the other party, because the other party helped to build this environment. If you're conservative and believe in limited government, this should trouble you. And if you're progressive and believe in institutional guardrails, this should trouble you. This is not about defeating one man. It's about repairing a system. And when I walk into a 150-year-old building, I don't panic when I see a few cracks. I ask, is the foundation still there? Is it structurally viable? America's foundation, federalism, separation of powers, legislative responsibility is still there. But we've overloaded the executive beam. We've removed structural supports from Congress. We've let civic education decay and decompose. This doesn't require demolition, but it does require rehabilitation. And rehabilitation requires courage. I was born into a segregated South that many believed would never reform, but it did. Not because it was easy, but because citizens demanded structural correction. Citizens who had just found their voice. That's where we are now. We don't need chaos, we need more voice. We need Congress to govern again. We need citizens to demand constitutional boundaries again. We need leaders who understand that power is most legitimate when it is restrained. But none of those will happen just because we want it to. We must reform the nation's guardrails. I don't believe America is ending, but it is being exposed, and exposure is painful, but clarifying. The system is tilted, but we can straighten it. Not with anger or fear or personality worship, but with disciplined constitutional repair. Because this isn't about party. Party is what got us here. It's about structure. And that can be fixed, especially when we revive our republic. Take care.